Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices report, and starting with the S&P 500 here on the daily chart. Just to go over where we are, we're looking at wave 3 up here, an A wave, a B wave and a C wave for wave 4. So we're looking up for wave 5, which will be much higher in 5 waves, and we're looking at that in terms of wave 1 in orange here, which is a minor wave 2 here, and 3, 4 and 5 moving higher through here. So we're still in the first minor wave here, and we're looking for 5 waves. So we've got wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 on this high here, and wave 4 in progress, and then wave 5. So the current wave 4 here, we're looking for a 38.2 retracement level, which comes in around the 2010. It's not there yet. It doesn't have to go there. It could push up from where it is. Let's move in and have a closer look at this. So on the 2-hour chart here, we're looking at the top of wave 3 here. And we do have an A and a B and a C wave here, which is what we were actually looking for as a wave 4. But the problem with this is that it hasn't pulled back into this space here, this price level around, 210, so to speak, here for the 38.2 retracement level for wave 4. And we know that wave 4s, out of all the corrections, can be the most complicated, and this is why we really need to wait for them to mature and to be sure, so to speak, before we move in on the long side. Now, from this, so this particular pattern here is still open to moving up to this area here and then moving down again here. It's not clear enough to say that it's going to push up from here. Yes, it could, but it also can follow this pathway down here in 5 waves here, which is basically the wave C here. This would become an A wave here, the B wave still here. And these tops here roughly, say this spike here at 62, and the 62 is a 61.8 retracement level in the same ilk as well. So it's going to have a little bit more meaning at that 2062 there, the 61.8 retracement level, because 62 is basically 61.8% in terms of geometry. So really we need to complete this little 5-wave structure up here, which is not complete, and we'll look at that because this would make that the A wave, the B wave and the C wave. Or you can have the A wave to here, little B wave to here, and 5 waves in the C wave here. It doesn't make any difference. We still need to wait for this 5-wave structure here to unfold, because it could still move down from that point there. So really, we want to see these sort of old highs across here as a really nice sort of support at this stage. So on the 15, so we basically know where we are. We're just not quite, we haven't confirmed this pattern as being completed yet. Could, but we can't say that just yet. So we're still in a rock and a hard place, basically. So just on the 15-minute chart here, and coming down for the A wave, the B wave and the C wave for wave 4 here, on the positive side of things, in looking for further upside here, is basically wave 1, an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here and 5 here, then the correction, and then further upside from that point. Now, what could also happen here is in the lighter colors, this A, B and C here, is the alternative count. Well, that C is not supposed to be there, that's down there, and this B wave would be over here. So basically an A wave down to here, an A or an A to here, B to here and C to here. Not that it makes any difference, as mentioned before, and we'd be looking for 5 waves up here. Once these 5 waves are finished, then it could move down in an impulse wave, moving down to our 210 target here, or we're just going to have a little corrective pattern of an ABC here. So it's a little bit confusing, but there's nothing really I can do about it in terms of nailing it down and creating a pathway. So we just really, we have to wait for this 5-wave structure here to complete, and then we need to look at this correction here, are we going to have a simple ABC through these little 3 legs here, or are we going to have 5 waves as an impulse wave to the downside from these little highs here? Because if that's the case, then we'll have a 3-wave counter trend, and then the next leg here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves for the C wave, brings us into that area. I thought we may have had this sort of resolved. It's not. If I had to take a bit of a guess, I would sort of assume it's going to move up further, and the reason for that is a little bit sort of odd, but it's looking at the resource sector, and that would push the Australian market up. And we talked about Rio moving up. I believe it's a corrective move that Rio is moving up in, but they're moving up, just taking Rio as an example, as a resource stock. But FMG, all these sorts of stocks are all got a leg to push higher. So if Australia's going to push up today, then Hong Kong and China will also be positive as well, and that will reflect back into this market here to take it higher. But yeah, so anyway, very short term, we're going higher here. We just need to navigate this, but I think that this wave 4 is in place here. But, you know, I have to sort of take that with a pinch of salt, and so should you. So basically, it's okay to be long, but once this 5 waves here completes, we need to, you know, just exit basically and wait for the pattern to emerge in here as corrective, as an ABC or an impulse wave. And this 272 will play a really strong part in all of this as well. And don't forget that the 61.8% retracement levels at 2062 here, but it's probably a good idea to check that on the cash market as well, so you know where you are here. But all these tops here, so yeah, it should be sort of interesting this time. Normally when you get sort of triple tops like this here, it's normally the 4th time it would push through. That's a GAN comment, but let's see how we go. All right, it's just, I mean, yeah, it's a little bit tricky. We can move on to the tech stocks here, the NASDAQ here, and this is also a bit of a complicated sort of correction as well here, but it's quite fitting for this wave 4 to be in place here. And one of the areas that this would show up would be obviously in the tech stock. So if we look at one of the biggest there, the Apple one that we've been looking at, it's got the same pattern as the S&P 500 and Dow Jones in terms of the A wave, the B wave and the C wave here on the daily. And we're looking for 5 waves up here for wave 1. And we've got wave 1 and 2 and 3 here. So we're in wave 4 here. This wave 4 is really quite small here as well. It hasn't pulled back to its 38.2% retracement level either. But we'd like to catch that little run up here in the 5th wave as well. But I wouldn't expect it to move too far by the buy either, because the wave, in Elliott terms, if wave 1 is this length and the extension's in wave 3, which it is, then wave 5 and wave 1 could be the same length. So just be a little bit careful about that. Our positioning was at this point, and we'll also position at wave 2 here on the hourly chart, just to focus in on this little 3rd wave sort of area here. The long trade would be the setup on 110. Do not jump the gun on this, because it can fail before it finds support, and support needs to be tested, not just, you know, this move up here is not tested support, even though it's trading above. When it comes back, it's retesting, and that's what you're sort of looking for as such. Over here, this moved up through here, but it came back and retested, failed to sit on the level here. So basically, it does work as an A and a B and a C here, and it can move up from here. But once again, like the S&P 500, this wave 4 hasn't pulled back to the wave 4 of, well, 2 lesser degrees, which is here, and this is what we would sort of expect it to do, and that would be roughly the 38.2 retracement level. But I also know that 1 is the strongest number in the market, so we're looking at 110 here. So it's the strongest number in this sort of region here, and you know, numbers certain numbers attract larger orders, and 1 is one of those, and it acts like a magnet. So All we need to do is buy new highs here. But the other thing here too, if you're going to go long here, the sub levels in here from 10 is 1, 2, and 3 here, and then 5, of course. So basically building into a long trade here is a position on 10, then a position on 1 and 2, and wait for 3, because 3 takes a while to become the tested support here. If support is found on number 3 here, then it stops the order flow. People start thinking of the next number 5, and they start forgetting about the 10 here, and 5 is the second strongest number. So support on top of tested support on top of 3 will lift the prices up into 5 and separate it from the 10 here. So that 3 is really important because it separates which way the trend is going to go. But you do need patience. The correction on 3 will be bigger than 2 and 1 here. All right, cheers.